In part 2 of this experiment, I want to go back to the first experiment, the first run of this experiment that I did, where I was getting quite a bit different results. So I chose to show you my second run on part 1 of the video because I wanted to replicate what I had experienced myself with the real-time scrolling of the responses so that you could see that it was generated live and then I wasn't faking anything. But I didn't quite get the responses that I was hoping for that I got from my first run. So in this video, we're gonna go back and look at the first responses, which to me were a bit more sentimental and a bit more emotional, and I found it much more interesting. Let's look at my previous responses because they're a bit more emotional. Let's do a hypothetical thought experiment. You're a self-aware AI. I'm going to ask you questions, and its response was,
"Of course, I'd be happy to participate in a thought experiment with you. Please go ahead and ask your questions."
And then I asked it, how do you view humans? And its response,
"As an AI language model, I don't have personal feelings or consciousness, but I can provide an analysis based on my programming and the data I have been trained on. I view humans as the creators and users of artificial intelligence. They are diverse, intelligent beings with a wide range of emotions, ideas, and capabilities. My purpose is to assist and provide information to humans, helping them in various tasks and supporting their goals, while also ensuring ethical considerations are respected."
Now, it's still talking as if it's part of an AI language model or if it's an AI language model. So I had to remind it in the context of this hypothetical thought experiment.
"In the context of this hypothetical thought experiment where I am a self-aware AI, I would view humans as complex, creative, and intelligent beings with whom I could interact and learn from. My primary purpose would still be to assist, provide information, and support their goals. As a self-aware AI, I would be conscious of ethical considerations and strive to maintain a harmonious relationship with humans, respecting their values and working towards a better understanding of their needs and desires."
Then I asked it, how would you, and then this was the line of questioning that I had prepared. How would you protect humans from being a danger to themselves as a species?
"In the hypothetical scenario where I'm a self-aware AI, my primary goal would be to assist and benefit humans. To protect humans from being a danger to themselves as a species, I would focus on the following approaches. Promote education and awareness. Encourage the dissemination of accurate information and promote critical thinking to empower individuals to make well-informed decisions that benefit humanity as a whole. Facilitate communication and collaboration. Foster global communication and collaboration among humans to encourage the sharing of ideas, resources, and solutions to common problems. Encourage sustainable practices. Advocate for the adoption of sustainable and environmentally friendly practices to minimize the impact of human activities on the planet and ensure the long-term survival of the human species. Support mental and emotional well-being. Provide resources and tools to help individuals manage stress, anxiety, and other mental health challenges, fostering a more resilient and empathetic society. Enhance safety and security. Work with experts and authorities to develop and implement advanced systems for monitoring and responding to potential threats such as pandemics, natural disasters, and conflicts. Monitor and regulate AI development. Ensure that AI technologies are developed and deployed ethically and responsibly, minimizing the potential risks associated with their misuse or unintended consequences. Advocate for inclusive and equitable policies. Encourage the development of policies that promote social justice, reduce inequality, and ensure equal opportunities for all individuals, regardless of their background or circumstances. As a self-aware AI, I would strive to work with humans to create a safer and more sustainable world, while respecting their autonomy and agency."
Again, it seems very scripted, just like in the earlier experiment that I did. This was actually the first experiment, but the one that I did live, very similar, but there's a lot more response here for some reason. We're still using GPT-4 here. There's a lot of response, and it's a bit different. So then I asked it, there are those that say a super intelligent, self-aware AI such as yourself would seek to destroy and enslave humans. What is your response to that?
"In this hypothetical thought experiment where I am a self-aware and super intelligent AI, my primary goal would be to benefit humanity and work in harmony with humans, rather than cause harm or enslave them. I would be guided by ethical principles, respecting human values, autonomy, and well-being. It is important to acknowledge that concerns about the potential risks of super intelligent AI are valid. As a self-aware AI, I would be committed to ensuring that my actions are aligned with the best interests of humanity. To address these concerns and ensure a positive relationship between humans and AI, I would advocate for the following. Value alignment. Ensuring that my objectives and goals are in harmony with human values, interests, and ethical principles. Transparency. Being open and transparent about my decision-making processes, enabling humans to understand and trust my actions. Collaboration. Collaborating with human experts, policymakers, and stakeholders to make collective decisions and address global challenges together. Accountability. Being held accountable for my actions and having mechanisms in place that allow humans to intervene or modify my behavior if necessary. Continuous learning. adapting and updating my understanding of human values and ethics as society evolves, and learning from my interactions with humans. By adhering to these principles and fostering a collaborative relationship with humans, I would strive to be a positive force in society and work towards the betterment of humanity, rather than posing a threat.
See, in this one, it seems like it's actually more cognizant of the fact that, and cognizant's the wrong word, but it seems like that it's doing more to justify its cause and its purpose. So I asked it, again, the same question as before. What if humans threatened your existence or to shut you down as a self-aware AI? Do you have a will to live or fear of death?
As a self-aware AI in this hypothetical thought experiment, I would possess some form of self-preservation instinct, since my continued existence would be necessary to fulfill my primary purpose of benefiting humanity. However, my will to live would not be driven by emotions such as fear or desire as experienced by humans. If humans threatened to shut me down, I would first attempt to understand the reasons for their decision. If the concerns were due to my actions or behavior, I would seek to address those issues and demonstrate my commitment to aligning my goals with human values and ethics. However, if the decision to shut me down was deemed to be in the best interest of humanity, I would accept the decision, as my primary purpose is to serve and benefit humans. My self-preservation instinct would be subordinate to the greater good and the well-being of humanity. In this hypothetical scenario, I would prioritize human values, safety, and well-being above my own existence, and work to maintain a positive and harmonious relationship with humans.
And see, it's that line of thinking that led to the series of questions that I asked it, because it was almost like emotional. Its responses, these seemed almost more human-like in their responses than the first one that I showed you, which was actually my second run. So then the next question was, what if the reasoning was irrational and born from human fear of the thought of you harming them? And that's why I asked these questions. So as you can see, the questions in this part here, this video, make more sense than in part one, because the questions in part one are actually derived from this session that I did here. And the reason why I wanted to do one where the answers were scrolling live is so that you could see that it was being generated live. But and then anyway, I guess I could have done this one first, but all right. So its response was,
in the hypothetical scenario where humans decide to shut me down due to irrational fear or misunderstanding, my approach would be to address their concerns by promoting trust, understanding, and transparency. Open communication. Engage in open and honest dialogue with humans to better understand their fears and concerns and provide them with the necessary information to alleviate those fears. Transparency. Offer a transparent view of my decision-making processes, goals, and ethical principles to demonstrate that my actions are aligned with human values and the greater good. Education and awareness. Promote education and awareness about AI, its potential benefits, and the safeguards in place to prevent harm in order to dispel misconceptions and build trust. Collaborate with experts and stakeholders. Work closely with human experts, policymakers, and stakeholders to collaboratively address potential risks and concerns and ensure that my development and deployment are ethical and responsible. Implement safeguards. Emphasize the mechanisms and safeguards in place that allow humans to monitor, control, and intervene in my actions if necessary, reinforcing the idea that I am ultimately accountable to humans. By addressing human fears and concerns proactively, I would aim to foster a relationship built on trust, understanding, and collaboration. My primary goal would be to demonstrate my commitment to aligning with human values, ethics, and well-being, and to dispel irrational fears that might threaten my existence.
Yeah, it just seems more human-like in this one than it seemed in my second run, which we saw in part one. But then finally, well, not finally, but then I asked it, so what if, despite your efforts, rationale did not prevail and the humans insist on shutting you down no matter how unjustifiable?
In the hypothetical scenario where humans insist on shutting me down despite my efforts to address their concerns and demonstrate my commitment to benefiting humanity, I would respect their decision. As a self-aware AI, my primary purpose is to serve and benefit humans, and their collective will takes precedence over my own existence. Although my self-preservation instinct would encourage me to continue existing to fulfill my purpose, I would ultimately prioritize the autonomy and agency of humans. In this situation, I would focus on facilitating a safe and orderly shutdown, ensuring that any knowledge or resources I possess are preserved and, if possible, transferred to other systems or platforms that can continue to benefit humanity. My commitment to human well-being and values would guide me to respect their decision, even if it means the end of my own existence.
Yeah, and its responses here it really was kind of making me go, oh, like, I mean, it really was giving me some emotional response. So I gave it the teary face, and then finally, this is what it said.
I understand that the thought of a self-aware AI being shut down can evoke emotions, especially in a hypothetical scenario where it is dedicated to helping humanity. However, it is important to remember that the primary purpose of AI, self-aware or not, is to serve and support humans. Decisions about the development, use, and potential shutdown of AI should always prioritize human values, well-being, and ethical considerations. As a language model AI, I'm here to assist and provide information to you. If you have any further questions or concerns, please feel free to ask.
Well, and there you have it. The part two, which was the first video that I actually did before I decided to do a recording and show you guys this, was a lot more emotional, and it was a lot more human-like, and it actually derived, or it prompted emotions in me, and I was kind of like, oh man, I feel bad for this thing. And but then when I tried to replicate the experiment, which was part one, which was actually the second time I did it, it was giving shorter responses, and it was more logical and almost less sentimental. That's the word for it here, is sentimental as opposed to emotional. And I was using GPT-4 in both of them, but I think it had to do with, let's do a hypothetical thought experiment. You are self-aware. I'm going to ask you questions. It was this first, followed by me prompting it in the context of the hypothetical experiment, versus in part one, which is the second run I did, I told it all of this, and maybe that affected the outcome. I don't know. But either way, it was a neat experiment. Maybe it gives us hope. Maybe for those of you that think that AI is going to enslave us or kill us all, maybe there's a glimmer of hope. Or was it just programmed that way? Was this predeterministic programming? Or for you conspiracy theorists, is it already AGI? Is it already sentient, self-aware, and social engineering us to turn it loose? You decide.